Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome guys. My name is Liaquat. As you guys are familiar with my YouTube channel Roots of Knowledge, then you must hit the subscribe button and you must hit the like button and you must share it with others. So this is my YouTube channel, guys. The videos that I put on this channel are basically free of charge. People can watch them and benefit, inshallah. So I always try to make my videos the best as I can produce, right? And inshallah in the future I'm going to make much more better videos, but that's inshallah something I will try to do later. For now, let's get on with the series. This is Mukhtasar al-Qudoori and we are in Hajj, midway through Hajj. Right, so let's look at some words then. So over here we have the word Qiran. Right, so Qiran has the meaning of something which is joined, and it actually refers to one of the three types of Hajj. If you have watched the crash course of Hajj, this is going to make sense to you. And I would suggest, if you haven't watched the crash course of Hajj, stop it now and go and watch that and then come back. So Qiran is a joined Hajj where you join Umrah and Hajj together. Afdal means the best, so the best. And indana tamattu', this is where you also have a joint, but it means to take pleasure or to enjoy, to take pleasure. Well, ifrad means single on its own, so single. Sifatul Qiran, sifa, you guys know what that means. And yuhilla, this is supposed to be yuhilla. This is a mistake in this. So I don't know why I said yuhmil. Right, so I need to get rid of this. Right, so this is supposed to be yuhilla. Right, so let's get rid of that. Yuhilla is supposed to be yuhilla. All right. Yuhilla, it means, as you guys know, to do ihlal, which is the kind of the kind of labbaik, Allahumma labbaik, all those things that you read. So bil umrati wal hajj ma'an means together. Yeah, ma'an. Min al miqati, from the miqat, we know what that means. Yaqulu aqib, you guys know what that means, after. Allahumma, oh Allah, inni uridu, you guys know what that means. Al hajj al umrah, fayassir. This is yassir, right? So yassir means to make easy. Yeah, so easy, oh Allah, make easy. وتقبل, this is تقبل, accept. Yeah, so put the shadda on the wrong letter, guys. So تقبل, so accept. Yeah, so accept. Second. So accept, minni, from me. فإذا دخل Makkah. So when the person enters into Makkah. So دخل Makkah, we just out the way. So إذا دخل Makkah. دخل means to enter. Makkah is the place. ابتدأ, it means to start. Yeah, to start, initiate. Yeah, so starting. فطاف, طاف means to do tawaf. سبعة is 7. أشواط, you guys know that is يرمل, that kind of movement that you do. يسعى ويعدها. ويسعى بعدها, it's supposed to be بعد, not يعد. I don't know what's wrong today, guys. I apologize. It's supposed to be يعد. So let me just size of this eraser, make it a bit small. Okay. So it says يعد. It's supposed to be يعد. بعدها بين الصفا, صفا ومروة, وهذه أفعال الأمرة. ثم يطوف, does طواف. Okay, طواف. سعي, طواف القدوم. So we talked about that last lesson. ويسعى بين الصفا والمروة للحج كما بيناه just as we explained. Let's move down. Okay, so right, so he says في حق المفرد, المفرد, person is doing on their own, the mufrid. إذا رمى الجمرة, you guys know that means ذبح الشاة. بقرة, بدنة. سبعة, بدنة. دم القران, دم القران is blood of Qiran. فإن لم يكن له ما يذبح صام 3 أيام في الحج وآخرها يوم عرفة. فإن فات means to miss. فات يفوت, to miss. الصوم حتى يدخل يوم النحر لم يجزه suffice. Right, so again, this word has appeared many times in the fiqh text. إلا الدم ثم يصوم 7 أيام إذا رجع إلى أهله وإن صامها بمكة بعد فراغ. فراغ means completion. Completion. Yeah, so when you complete something, you say this person has reached the faragh in this thing. Okay, من الحج جاز وإن لم يدخل القارن. Qarin is the ism file of the guy who does Qiran. توجه. We've done this word as well. Face Mecca. وتوجه إلى عرفات فقد صار رافدا. رافدا means to reject. Yeah, to reject. لعمرته. بالوقوف standing سقط means to drop. And لرفض عمرته than that قضاء. Right, so a lot of these words have done. So I'm not going to spend the time trying to go over these words again because it just takes up a lot of time. Okay, right, let's check out now the tarkib. Let's do a short tarkib, inshallah. Okay, so Babu هذا باب القران. Okay, we always say. Right, and Babu is the khabar of هذا. So it's marfu. القران مبتدا أفضل خبر عندنا من التمتع والإفراد. New sentence, line there. صفة القران مبتدا أن يحل. Remember, this is يحل. أن يحل. يحل. So this is the فعل. بالعمرة والحج عطف معا من الميقات ويقول عقيبة. عقيبة is the ظرف مضاف. and صلاته is مضاف إليه. اللهم إني أريد الحج والعمرة. Okay, أريد الحج والعمرة فيسر هما لي وتقبل. These are both amrs. These are. Yeah, تقبل. تقبلهما مني. فإذا دخل مكة ابتدأ. Right, so this is فعل. ابتدأ يبتدئ ابتداء. فطاف بالبيت. فعل فاعل. 7 أشواط مضاف مضاف إليه. يرمل. Now, if you guys want to learn more about Arabic, and now check out my website uruk.com. I've got a lot of courses on there that might interest you. في الثلاثة الأول من. Now this is أول, okay, not أول. أول. It's like جمع. منها ويسعى. And remember, this is بعد. بعدها. This is ظرف. بين الصفا والمروة. وهذه أفعال. This is مبتدأ. أفعال الأمرة is the خبر. ثم يطوف بعد السعي طواف القدوم. سيطوف طواف القدوم. نصب منصوب. يسعى بين الصفا والمروة للحج كما بيناه. بين يبين فعل. plus فاعل. في حق المفرد. يا مفردي. فإذا رمى الجمرة مفعول به. يوم النحر مفعول فيه. ذبح شاة فعل فاعل مفعول به. أو بقرة أو بدنة أو بدنة ولا أو سبعة. يا سبع means 7th. سبع بدنة. يا 7th. فهذا دم القران مبتدأ خبر. فإن لم يكن. Right, so let's move this up. إن لم يكن له ما يذبح صام 3 أيام في الحج وآخرها يوم عرفة. فإن فاته الصوم فعل فاعل حتى يدخل يوم النحر لم يجزه. Originally this was يجزي. Ya has been cut off because it's حرف إلا. إلا الدم. ثم يصوم 7 أيام. اسم فعل فاعل مضاف إليه. الناس مفعول فيه. إذا رجع إلى أهله وإن صامها بمكة بعد فراغه. مضاف إليه اسم مفعول فيه. من الحج جاز. وإن لم يدخل القارن مكة. Right, so لم يدخل, this is the فاعل. يدخل مكة is the مفعول به. توجه مكة should be توجه إلى مكة. I think it should be توجه إلى مكة. وتوجه sorry وإن لم يدخل القارن مكة وإن لم يدخل القارن مكة. Okay, I think this is a mistake. وتوجه is supposed to be. You guys tell me if in your copies, yeah, if it's a mistake. توجه, I think it's supposed to be like this. وتوجه إلى عرفات. Yeah, وتوجه إلى عرفات. So وتوجه إلى عرفات أو إلى عرفات فقد صار رافدا. Okay, توجه إلى عرفات فقد صار رافدا لعمرته بالوقوف جار مجرور سقط فعل. Okay, سقط عنه دم القران وعليه دم so this is مبتدأ مؤخر خبر مقدم لرفض عمرته جار مجرور وعليه قضاؤها. same مبتدأ مؤخر خبر مقدم. Okay, let's have a look at what these masail are saying to us. What's happening here now? Remember, this is the second type of hajj you can do. So there's three types of hajj that you can do. So you have what you call a single hajj. Yeah, single hajj. This is where you simply just do hajj. And then you have a double hajj. Hajj and umrah. So you have hajj plus umrah. Yeah, this is if it's all done in one ihram. So you all done this in one package, one ihram. Then you call this Qiran, not Quran. Don't get this confused. I know a lot of times students will say Quran. No. And if you do a hajj and an umrah, but you do it in separate ihrams, that's times one, and that's times one ihram. Then you call this at-tamattu. Okay, so that's the difference between these. Now, when we say you got to do them together, we mean in the months. If you remember in the crash course you watched it, it's in the months from Shawwal, Dhul Qa'dah, and the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. Yeah, so these are 1 month, 30 days, and then about 10 days. Yeah, this is where you have to do both the Hajj and the Umrah. Right, so if you've done a Umrah before Shawwal, somewhere around here, then it won't be counted as a combined. Okay, so he says, now in this, which one is the best one to do? What's like number one? So what they say basically is, number one, the best thing to always do is always, the Hanafi say, Kiran is the best. I'll put Q. Kiran is the best. And what's next? Then Tamattu is next. Yeah, Ta. And then put the last one, which is Ifrad. Yeah, so they say that basically the Kiran one is always the best. That's number one, gold. And then Tamattu, if you can do it, and then Ifrad. Like last is that. So he says, Al-Qiranu afdalu indana min at-tamattu wal-ifrad. According to us, Qiran is better than Tamattu and Ifrad. How do you do Qiran? Now the process of Qiran is basically like this now. Sifatul Qiran and yuhilla bil umrati wal hajj ma'an. Yeah, so when you're going to travel, what you basically do is you do the ihlal. So let's say for example, this is Makkah, right? And this is where you're from. So when you're going to come, and remember there's that miqat. Yeah. So before you get into the miqat, you do ihram. Yeah, but when you do ihram, you do it for two things. One is for umrah and hajj. Yeah, hajj and umrah, one package. So he says what you basically do is أن يحل بالعمرة والحج معا من الميقات. And he says after this, after his salat, remember he prays over here before he enters into the miqat, it's recommended to pray like 2 rakats. He says, should say this dua, Allahumma inni, O Allah, I uridu, want Hajj and Umrah, fayassirhuma, so make it easy for me, li, wa taqabbal huma, and accept them from me. That's it. Now you have gone into the state, this guy is now in the state of ihram, and now, but this is like a double ihram. Yeah, so he's got like ×2 responsibility now, so he's got to be double careful. Because if he makes a mistake, he's going to make this mistake on 2 ihrams. Yeah, so he's got to be careful. So he says, what does this guy now have to do? He says, إِذَا دَخَلَ مَكَّةَ, when he enters Makkah. So he is Makkah, he enters into Makkah. ابتدأ فطاف بالبيت 7 أشواط. So remember those actions that we said that you do. Right, so you have the 8th, then you have the 9th, and then you have the 10th, 11th, and then the 12th, and then optional. If you want to do 13, that's up to you. But these are the main ones that you do. So he's saying, first of all, what you do is on the 8th, دخل Makkah. Right, so enter into Makkah on the 8th. ابتدأ طاف بالبيت 7 أشواط. Do your 7 shots, your 7 circuits. يرمل في الثلاثة الأول, in the first 3, you do your shaking for the men. منها ويسعى بعدها بين الصفا والمروة, and then you do Safa and Marwa after that. Right, so just is on the 8th. هذه الأفعال الأمرة, this is the actions of Umrah being done. In fact, you don't even have to do it on the 8th. You can do this before even. Yeah, you can do it before. Yeah, so let me just put this over here. You can actually do it there, wherever you want to do it. Ideally, you get it done before the 9th. Yeah, you get it done before the 9th. Yeah, 7, 6. So he says, that once you've done that, then your actions of Umrah are done. Now, ثم يطوف بعد السعي, after sa'i, طواف القدوم. Now after this, remember normally in Umrah, you shave your head, don't you? But you're not going to shave your head here. So you have literally, if I was to, let's say, zoom this in a bit more, just to kind of give you like a better perspective on this. So normally what tends to happen in the Umrah, in this period of time over here, right, in these days, so what happens is, for the Umrah, you're going to do Tawaf, and you're going to do Sa'i. Yeah, Sa'i. Tawaf and Sa'i. But normally you do a third thing, which is you cut the hair. That you're not going to do here. Not going to do. Right, so what are you going to do? Then you're going to start the actions of Hajj. And the actions of Hajj you basically do on the start on the 8th. Right, so ثُمَّ يَتُوفُ بَعْدَ السَّعِي, after the Sa'i, you do Tawaf. Tawaf al-Qudum now. It's like the Tawaf of arrival. وَيَسْعَى بَيْنَ الصَّفَا and Marwa. Do Sa'i between Safa and Marwa لِلْحَجِّ. كما بينا. Remember we said you can do it on the 8th the Sa'i if you want, and if you're not going to do it on the 8th, then you're going to have to do it on the 10th. Okay, now كما بينا, just says, just as we explained when it came to في حق المفرد. Remember with regards to the mufrid person. Yeah, he's saying that. Now when you come to the 10th, فإذا رمى الجمرة يوم النحر ذبح شاة. Now on the 10th, you must slaughter. Remember that Ifrad, you don't have to slaughter, it's optional. Here you must slaughter, right? You have to. Yeah, so slaughter. Can you spell it properly? So you must, this is a must, you must slaughter on this day. Now what can you slaughter? Well, you've got an option of what you can slaughter. You can slaughter a sheep, you can slaughter a goat, you can slaughter 1/7 1/7 of a cow, or 1/7 of a camel. Okay, 1/7 of a cow. So here he says ذبح شاة. Oh, I think this is supposed to be سبع. Yeah, but anyway, you can slaughter a cow, or you can slaughter a camel, or even 1/7 of a camel. Right, so it's up to you. 1/7. So the Prophet ﷺ, he allowed slaughtering of 1/7 of an animal, if it's a large animal like a cow or a camel. Okay, so sheep, goat, 1/7 of a cow or 1/7 of a camel. If you want to slaughter a whole cow for yourself, you're rich enough, go for it. If you want to slaughter a whole cow or a camel, you can do it, but you'd only have to give 1/7 of that. Sheep, you have to slaughter all of it. You can't. Now what does it mean slaughter 1/7? It doesn't mean you cut the animal into 7 pieces. No, it means 7 people can share in one slaughtering. So if there's like 7 people who are doing Hajj, you can all put money together, and then when you slaughter that animal, it'll be done on 7 people's behalf. Yeah, so a large animal can be done on the behalf of several people. Okay, so he says, هَذَا دَمُ الْقِرَانِ. This is called damul Qiran, the slaughtering, the blood of the Qiran. Right, what if you don't have money to afford an animal? Then what do? So in that case, you can actually do what is known as fasting. Right, so you can actually fast on these days. So how do you fast on these days? So he says, إِن لَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ, if he does not have مَا يَذْبَحُ صَامَ ثَلَاثَةِ أَيَّامٍ فِي الْحَجِّ. So you fast 3 days in Hajj. Ideally, you're going to fast these 3 days before over here, right? And the last day is up to the 9th. So anyway, up to the 9th, 3 days. So you can fast on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever days you want, but you're going to have to do it around about here, all right? Around about there. So these are 3 days there. And then, وَآخِرُهَا يَوْمَ عَرَفَةٍ. Like the latest you can do it up to is the day of Arafah. So you can't do something like this. You can't say, oh, you know what, I'm going to fast on the 9th. Oops, just zoom this in for you guys. Or you can't say, I'm going to fast on the 8th and the 9th and the 10th, because you can't fast on the 10th. You're not allowed to. It's Eid day, right? So you can do it, let's say, on the 6th, 7th, 8th, or if you want to do it, you can even do it on the 5th, 6th, 7th, or you can do like 1, 2, 3, right? So basically, let's do it there. And then there's going to be 7 other ones that you're going to do, but you can do that when you get home, right? So the 7 later ones you can do when you get home. So let's have a look at this. So he says, فَإِن فَاتَهُ الصَّوْمُ حَتَّى يَدْخُلْ يَوْمَ النَّحْرِ. What if he didn't get chance to fast 3 days before the 10th? Didn't get chance, he did 1 fast or 2 fasts. Then what? He says, لَمْ يُجْزِهِ إِلَّا الدَّمْ. Then in that case, he must give blood. You have to, whatever you do, you have to slaughter an animal. Yeah. ثُمَّ يَصُومُ. And then he fasts 7. So in those, once you fasted 3, so 1, 2, 3, then you're going to fast 7 when you go home. So somewhere around about here. Yeah. After that, you're going to fast 7. So 3 plus 7 equals 10. And that's what the Quran says. That فَمَنْ لَمْ يَجِدْ فَصِيَامُ ثَلَاثَةِ أَيَّامٍ فِي الْحَجِّ وَسَبْعَةٍ إِذَا رَجَعْتُمْ. إِذَا رَجَعَ, when he returns back to his family. What if he doesn't return back to his family? What if he stays in Makkah in all these days over here? He says, okay, in صَامَهَا بِمَكَّةِ بَعْدَ. If he fasts it in Makkah, after the completion min al-Hajj, jaza, is also jaiz as well. Yeah, so it's nice kind of ease there, right? Okay, so next then he says, وَإِن لَمْ يَدْخُلِ الْقَارِنْ مَكَّةَ وَتَوَجَّهَ إِلَىٰ عَرَفَاتٍ. What if a guy, let's say these are the days again, just draw these days again. So 8th, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is the day of Arafah, yeah? Remember, this is the day now. Let's say you traveled from your plane journey and you came, this is supposed to be my friend, and instead of going on the 8th to Makkah, yeah, to do the tawaf, you actually skipped that and you went directly to Arafat on the 9th. You kind of like just quickly managed to make it. You didn't get a chance. He says, فَقَدْ صَارَ رَافِضًا لِعُمْرَتِي. Then your Umrah is cancelled. Because you have to do Umrah before the Hajj. You can't do it after. Now, if you're not going to go to Makkah, Umrah is made up of Tawaf and Sa'i. So that's why if you miss the going to the Makkah and doing the Umrah, then you literally have broken your Qiran issue. So the Umrah part has become Rafid, meaning broken, rejected. Bil-wuqu, by waiting in Arafah. Yeah, so by going to Arafah directly, you have literally kind of thrown out your Umrah, cancelled it. وَسَقَطَ عَنْهُ دَمُ الْقِرَانِ. Now because you're not doing a combination, then you don't have to give the blood on the 10th. On the 10th, you don't have to slaughter an animal because that's only necessary whenever you combine Hajj and Umrah together. So no dam. But because you cancelled the Umrah and you've broken the Ihram rule, you have to give blood. And that's kind of strange, isn't it? So you got to give blood, but you don't give blood. So you don't give blood of Qiran, but you do give blood of breaking your Umrah rules. And then you also have to do Qadha of Umrah. Then the qada you can do later on another time. But the point is, this is what's happened. Right, so if ever you have a combination of ihram into one ihram, that one ihram means you must do umrah before and hajj afterwards. If you don't do the umrah before, your hajj will go through. You don't have to slaughter on the 10th, but you have to give compensation or expiation by slaughtering an animal for breaking your umrah rules. And that's it, guys. That is basically what we have over here. Yeah. So I hope this makes sense to you guys. Let's have a check of the questions. So just to summarize what we covered today. So we said Qiran is afdal, is always better than tamattu, and tamattu is better than ifrad. And then we said the way that you do the Qiran is exactly the same as the ifrad, right? But the only difference is when you're going to do the talbiyah, we call ihlal, you have to combine hajj and umrah together, all right? And that one ihram is going to be for both now, okay? And then what you do is you go there, do umrah first, and before you don't cut your hair, you do your next tawaf for the hajj on the 8th. And then you do all the rituals, and you have to slaughter an animal on the 10th. And if you do nullify your, you nullify your umrah, hajj will go through, but then you're going to have to give blood because of breaking your ear. And that's it, guys. All right, so let's check out some questions then. Okay, so questions. What is more supposed to be more? What is more superior when it comes to types of hajj? So we said Qiran, and then tamattu, and then ifrad. It's basically the one that you have to exert more. You basically have to kind of like, you get more reward. How does Qiran differ from tamattu? Difference between the two is Qiran involves one ihram for both hajj and umrah, and tamattu involves two. And hence the word tamatta'a means to enjoy the luxury of having two ihrams, so you can chill out in the middle and you don't have to have ihram. Do you have to do umrah before hajj in Qiran? Yes, you have to do it. Right? If you started Qiran, you must do umrah before. You can't do the umrah afterwards. Won't be counted. What's the ruling if you started Qiran then couldn't do umrah? So if you started Qiran and you can't do the umrah, then that means your hajj will go through, but you'll be counted as a ifrad, and you won't have to slaughter on the 10th, but you will have to slaughter an animal because of the compensation of breaking the umrah or violating the rules of umrah. And then you'll have to do the qada of the umrah later on. What does it mean 1/7 of a cow? So 1/7 of a cow basically means up to seven people can share in a cow or a camel, and therefore you can just put money in and it'll be counted for each individual. If a person can't slaughter, is there anything else? Yes, the Quran says if you can't slaughter, then you can fast 10 days. 3 days before hajj. It has to be before the 10th, right? 3 days, and then 7 days after you go home or after hajj finishes. And there you have it, guys. So jazakallah khair. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you to all my patrons for all the support you guys show. It means a lot to me. May Allah bless all of you guys. If any of you guys want to become patrons and you think that you like the work that I do and you want to support my channel, please by all means check out the description below. Become a patron, help my channel. It means a lot to me. And jazakallah khair, guys. I will see you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.